If you could go ahead and give us your name and tell us a little about yourself, what surgery you had and when you had it.
My name is Rebecca. I had the gastric bypass, Roux-en-Y. I had it in October 2013, so it was about 9.5 months ago.
Okay.
I'm from here in California,
Okay.
up in Victorville, which is about 2 hours north of here. So,
And what was the worst thing about being overweight?
for me, it was a combination of not being able to be active with my husband. My husband is he's 6 foot tall and about a whopping 155 pounds. So we looked like a number 10 together. Tall and skinny, I was very short and round. It was very cute. A little odd couple there, but he's in the Army.
Yeah.
So he's very active. He likes to, especially here in California, likes to climb the mountains.
Yes.
And I simply could not do that. And I have a son who at the time was probably 2, and started walking, started running,
Yeah.
started climbing, and I couldn't keep up with him anymore.
Very fast.
Yeah.
How did you first find out about bariatric surgery, and what were your initial impressions of it?
Actually, the first couple of instances I had with it was for friends who had it done.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never even considered it, ever. I was doing my own thing with some workout DVDs.
Yeah.
I was a coach selling those workout DVDs.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure that was the answer to it all.
Yeah.
Yes. And I figured I couldn't mention that on camera. So
No. We already know.
yeah. So, but yeah, and I really thought that was going to be the answer for me. And when I finally got to my breaking point that everybody gets to, I contacted one of my friends who had had the surgery about 1.5 years before me, and I just talked to her about it, and she was very open with it, which is why I'm now so open about it.
That's kind of like the next question. What was that breaking point? What finally made you decide to have surgery?
My moment was, I think it was February of 2000, and it would have been 2013, and I had been bugging my husband because I had baby fever. Our son was about 2 years old.
Yeah.
He was a little over 2 years old, and I was dying to have another child. And I had my first son when I was big, so to me it was no big deal to have another one.
Yeah.
And after bugging, he finally just broke down and said, "Listen, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I really don't want you to get pregnant again at the size that you are. I don't think it'll be good for your health." And like literally that day was the first day I Googled weight loss surgery.
And how did you decide on which procedure to have, and how did you select your surgeon?
The procedure was actually kind of handed to me. My husband's in the Army, I have TRICARE. You get the lap band or you get gastric bypass, unless you live on base and go through a military facility, but being in the area we are, that was not an option for us.
Okay.
So, and I chose the gastric bypass because of the dumping syndrome, which some people think is a not so nice side effect, but for me, it was exactly what I needed. And I know I needed that control with the sugar, and I have it.
Yeah.
And I don't use it as often, thank God, but it's a good thing I had it. And my surgeon, I can't even remember how I found him. I think I found him through Obesity Help.
Oh, great.
I did. I really think I did. I think I searched, and I found him on Obesity Help, and through there was a turning point where I really didn't know if I wanted to use him during my 6 months, because the interaction I was having with the staff really wasn't as personable as I thought it should be.
Yes.
And I asked on the forum there, and I said, has anybody used him? Has anybody had these issues before? And somebody assured me, listen, it is this way in the beginning, but I guarantee you, they just see so many people who just get declined.
Yeah.
And once you get to that point of being accepted, trust me, and it is. That's how I got my ticket to come here.
Oh, great.
Was the office manager, who's the surgeon's wife, called me because she knew how bad I wanted to come.
Oh, that's awesome.
So.
And in the weeks after your surgery, how did you feel, and how did you cope with any anxiety you might have had?
Felt like death.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna glaze over that. I had a really rough time post-op. I didn't have any complications. I did get a bladder and kidney infection from the catheter.
Yeah.
And that really slowed me down. I was not able to do as much. I had what I called my turkey timer.
Yeah.
You know, turkey and the little thing pops out when it's done. Well, I had a spot right about here in my stomach, which was scar tissue. But if I had pushed it just too far, that would just scream.
Oh my gosh.
Screaming in pain. It was my turkey valve.
Yeah.
So you're done. Trying to slow down. So it took me a good long time. It took me longer than I expected. I thought I was going to get up on my feet because I was so young.
Yeah.
But I got through it.
And what fears did you have about having any complications or dying from surgery? And what would you tell other people who might be having those same fears? as they are considering surgery?
Yeah, I definitely had that moment. Like, you know, you
Especially with
get to that
your son.
point. Yes,
Yeah.
with my son. I wanted to do this for my son. What if in doing this, I left him and my husband behind? How would they ever cope?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. But after really researching my doctor, he never had a single malpractice case.
Yeah.
He never had a single, nobody has ever died on his table, not one. And he's done a ton of surgeries in the
Wow.
20 years he's been doing it. So, in having confidence in my surgeon is how I have confidence. You just gotta research the heck out of it.
And who was your surgeon?
He was Dr. John Kuhn in Riverside, California.
Oh, okay, very nice. And what type of aftercare and support group programs do you have?
Oh, I have so many. I'm a support group lover.
Oh, cool.
So the very first one I actually hooked up with was an online group that I got added into from Obesity Help.
Yeah.
And it was just a weight loss surgery Facebook group.
Yeah.
And I got all my information off there. One of my best friends actually now is from that site that I got
Okay.
through. So I started with that, and then my local hospital that I had my surgery at, they have a support group monthly. My surgeon hosts one up in the desert where we are monthly. So I go to 2 support groups every month, and I have 4 Facebook groups online.
Wow.
So I'm a big proponent of support.
So I guess you do find them helpful and they're important to you.
Very helpful.
Do you notice people treating you differently now?
Yes.
Yes.
I am a very average church attender, and every Sunday is a bit of a trip. I'm not gonna lie. It's, you know, I do kind of turn it out a little more than I used to. It used to be jeans and t-shirt, and that was about the best I could do. And now I dress a little nicer, dress a little fancier, and people are always, oh wow. And when I first moved here about 3 years ago, I thought California was just the meanest place in the world. People were just mean, just rude, just would walk in front of you like you weren't even there, wouldn't open a door for you, and it just blew my mind. I was like, what's wrong with this place? I hate this place. And now, at 110 pounds less, doors open for me, and people are nicer to me, and people help me places, and I suddenly realized maybe it wasn't California, maybe it was my weight that was making people act that way to me.
And what types of things do you enjoy doing now, and what that you weren't able to do before?
Just being active in general. I mean, I always wanted to be active, but at 290 pounds, there just wasn't much my body could do for me. And one of my biggest moments was my husband, for his birthday, wanted to climb Mount Baldy, which is a mountain here in California. It is 4 miles up, 4 miles down, and an elevation gain of 2,000 feet. And I did it, and I finished it. And he told me, he's like, you're gonna feel awesome when you get to the top. I got to the top, I want to take a nap. I did not feel awesome. Hiking is not my thing. I don't want to do anything for 6 hours straight, except for sleep.
Exactly.
Not hike up a hill for 6 hours. But yeah, just being active, and I started running and lifting weights, and I love it. Love it all.
So I heard this is your first conference, Obesity Help Conference?
Yes, very first.
Yes. So how did you hear about the 2014 Obesity Help Conference, and what made you decide to come?
My first actual hearing of it is Diana Vogel came to our support group and spoke.
Awesome.
And I love her. She is so much fun, and she's just spunky, and she's hilarious. And so from there, she handed out the postcards, and I was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing. And I really honestly didn't think I'd be able to afford it, and if it wasn't for my surgeon's office giving me a ticket, I wouldn't have been able to be here this week. And I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, that's all the questions we have. Thank you so much.
No problem. That was fun.